Hey nerds, welcome back to Section Nerdy One.
Oh my God.
Star Trek arm of the Nerd
I'm
Network.
in the room
I'm in
with
a room
you.
with
Holy
John.
crap.
And her.
This is Judy, my wife. She's with us this time.
Her arm and sometimes her leg have made guest appearances on some of our videos.
Very, very true.
And she rode all the way up to my house, so we thought we'd put her in the back. We're getting demonetized. Getting canceled.
I get
Guys,
the comfy chair.
She gets the princess chair. I get my desk chair. John gets the we tried chair.
The least comfortable chair in the county.
That you're not wrong about. My ass has had some sore moments. Anyways, we were gonna do a reaction to a watch-along reaction to Wrath of Khan, but me and technology have a love-hate relationship. So we called
mostly
audible.
hate.
Yes, mostly hate. BB Hate is my favorite character in Star Wars. We call it audible, and we're gonna do something special. John can recite the movie word for word. I cannot because I saw this movie when I was like 10, and Judy cannot because she's not John.
Fair.
We're going to dub the movie. Much
And
to
it's not going to be
John's
perfect.
chagrin.
It's not going to be perfect by any
will not be
means.
perfect by any stretch of the word.
Because in addition to trying to dub it, I am actually going to try to provide some background and some details and some interesting
Playing
stuff.
the straight man to my.
Sure, go with that.
I wish I could grab my rainbow flag. He's going to play the straight man to the whatever the hell I come up with to the whatever hell Judy comes up with. I don't know if this is going to be fun, but if you're still watching and you haven't clicked off yet, you're awesome, and you are also in glutton for punishment, much like I am. John has some things to share with us about Wrath of Khan before we get rolling.
Yeah, Wrath of Khan has a very, very interesting history, and a lot of people know
I'm going to eat my popcorn.
A fair amount of this. Not everybody does. After the motion picture, Paramount was very happy with the movie that came out because it did pretty well in the box office and made them some money. However, they were not happy with Gene Roddenberry. He went way over budget. It was supposed to have a budget of about $15 million, which already put it above the $11 million budget that Star Wars ended up having in 1978, which itself had gone over budget. It was originally budgeted at about $8 million. By the time Star Trek the Motion Picture was finished and on its way to theaters, their budget had ballooned up to $44 million.
God.
Yep. Wrath of Khan was not going to be made by Gene Roddenberry. They wanted somebody else who could come in and give them a Star Trek movie, but keep it under budget. And so they ended up hiring Harve Bennett. There's a lot more to the story, so I am cutting a lot of that. But they hired Harve Bennett. He was able to bring the movie in at under $13 million, a $400 reduction in budget from what they'd had for Star Trek the Motion Picture. Now, a lot of that came at the cost of having to reuse a tremendous number of sets, a lot of special effects, a lot of footage from the movie is actually repurposed footage from the motion picture. There are a lot of things that they wanted to do that didn't end up happening. The fact that this movie came out as fast as it did after the motion picture is amazing because they couldn't decide on a script. There were at least 5 different scripts that had been generated. By the end of it, the hired director, that's his name, Nicholas Meyer. They'd hired Nicholas Meyer to direct it. He also has an amazing ability to write script pages at a fever pace. He asked for a copy of everything that was current and was available.
Okay.
And so took like all 5 scripts. And as he said, we picked up from the first script, Kirk having a son. We picked up Khan from a script. We picked up Genesis from a different script. We picked up Lieutenant Savick. These were all elements of other scripts. I cobbled them together with my own dialogue and plotting. Spock may have died in the middle of one of the drafts. I don't remember. But he threw it all together to make the movie. he called it Star Trek II: The Undiscovered Country. And Paramount changed the title. It went through, these are just the names, and thank you to Trek Culture, who had them all on screen written down. So this is all stuff that I've borrowed from them. Star Trek II was originally going to be called Star Trek: The War of the Generations. At one point, it was changed to the Omega System, then to Star Trek: The Genesis Project, then Star Trek: Worlds That Never Were, then The New Star Trek, and then Star Trek: The New Frontier. Later, it went back to Star Trek: The Final Frontier, Star Trek: Escape from Eden, Star Trek: A Matter of Life and Death, Star Trek: The Genesis War, Star Trek: The Baptism of Fire, and finally to Star Trek: The Vengeance of Khan. And then it changed again because they did not want to confuse with the fact that Return of the Jedi was going to be coming out, but at the time it was still being called Revenge of the Jedi. This was in 1982, before Jedi came out, and so they changed it from Vengeance to Wrath. And Nicholas Meyer was livid about the fact that he wasn't going to get to call it The Undiscovered Country, which is the name he wanted to use, which is from Shakespeare. He then got his wish later. When Star Trek VI went into production, he was asked to direct it again. And he named that one The Undiscovered Country. Gene Roddenberry was also very unhappy with a lot of the aspects of this movie. Nicholas Meyer saw this as a militarization. He made the ship that had felt so spacious and open and pastel colors in the first movie. He changed it all to make it look like they were on a submarine. Everything is low lighting. Everything is low key. There are signs that say no smoking on the wall, in the transporter room and on the bridge at one point. They put up a bunch of new signage, a bunch of new gizmos and patterns on the walls. You will hear a bell, a chime in the background. They use a boatswain whistle when they're bringing the captain on. They've started Admiral on the bridge started with this movie. The uniforms are designed to look like Horatio Hornblower. Gene Roddenberry despised it. As production was completing, and as it was getting time for them to bring the movie out, there were a lot of rumors that started surfacing that Spock was going to die. At the time, that was a huge deal, to the point where when they were writing the novelization, they were thinking of actually putting out two different endings for the novel to try to throw people off to not give away the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Harv Bennett had them start putting intentional typos on the scripts to find out, when script information got out, who was leaking it. Turns out Gene Roddenberry was the one leaking it, allegedly. But it was Gene Roddenberry. So that became a problem because he had gotten the fans into a furor over the fact that Spock, easily the most popular character at that time in 1982, was going to die. Look for it early in the movie. There is a joke between Kirk and Spock about Spock being dead. That was put in as a subversion early in the movie.
Gotcha.
To make people think, oh, okay, we got this taken care of. So there is that. Also, check out Saavik during the movie. There are some things that are very un-Vulcan-like about Saavik at several different points in the movie. There is a tear shed at one point. There is a surprise. She lets out a surprise gasp at one point. In the original script and story, the idea was that Saavik was going to be half Romulan, half Vulcan. Unfortunately, that got lost to time, but it was definitely a plot point, and a lot of Kirstie Alley's portrayal of the character was based on that concept that she had a dual heritage. Down the road, a lot of that, the whole idea of having, Spock was half human and half Vulcan, so it stood to reason if you had a Vulcan that had...
If a human can fuck a Vulcan, then Romulan can fuck a Vulcan.
That's not the way I was going, but fair enough. But yeah,
well,
so
we can ask the bio person behind us.
this is true. Biology teacher.
If a human
Biology
fucks a
teacher.
Vulcan, what happens?
We are getting demonetized.
Hey!
But
Ready?
that and there are going to be some other things that I'll bring up during the movie that are actually interesting plot ideas and interesting background behind the scenes information. Ricardo Montalban has been quoted many times prior to his death as saying that when he first came in, he had to get them to send him a copy because back in 1982 you couldn't just go watch Star Trek anytime. He had them send him a copy of the original episode of The Space Seed that he was in because he had forgotten how to play Spock. And at this point, he had
Khan.
Khan. And at this point,
I'm the one who hasn't seen this movie in 2 decades, sir.
For 3 or 4 years, he'd only been playing one character, and that was Mr. Rourke on Fantasy Island. And so some of his first shots of this movie, they had to go back and redo because he was becoming Mr. Rourke instead of Khan. So,
That's awesome.
But there's some other information I'll pass along as we go through because there are some interesting bits of history here.
Fun fact as we get rolling, haven't seen Space Seed either. So
we're playing How Many Times Can John Smack His Head?
Concussion. All right, guys. So this is going to be like some of our other reactions in that there will be a timestamp.
This will not be anything like
However,
any of our other reactions.
As the headline below says, we're trying. So let's go ahead and dive into this. So like I said, timestamp will be here on the screen. However, there will not be volume. We're going to provide you the dialogue. So if you'd like to go ahead over to, what are we at? We're at Voodoo?
That was the last piece of information here, just real fast. I am watching this. We are watching this as the 4K version from, now I happen to have it through Voodoo, through Fandango, because I purchased it, but this is the 4K. And this is also going to be a little different if you're watching it. You need to make sure you're watching the director's cut. There are some really important things, and I will actually point out a couple of the scenes that are not in the original movie as it was in theaters that add a lot that Nicholas Meyer went back in and put back in for this cut. And apparently, I should have continued talking for a bit longer.
Or was he thinking you were going to go?
Telling me
Wow.
All right, folks. Like I said, Voodoo, director's cut. There's your timestamp.
Or just get the Blu-ray.
That too. Or we're going to go. So I'm going to count to 3 and say go. And then you hit play as I hit play. And this might be fun. It might be a dumpster fire. It's going to be a dumpster fire. But we're going to try to have some fun. And see how many times I can make John break.
That won't take long.
1, 2, 3, go. But Paramount Mountain.
Beautiful.
Back when it was a Gulf and Western company.
I don't know what that means.
That was the company that owned Paramount at the time.
Oh.
Before
They do a lot of golfing too.
different
Make a lot of Westerns.
different golf.
Space, the final frontier. These are the voyages.
And
Starship
this is the
Enterprise.
background that you see me using every week.
Oh, cool.
I still love this starscape for that they use in this movie. Mine doesn't rotate, obviously, because it's not in motion, but
I sense there's dialogue that's attached to this we can't currently hear.
there isn't. It's music.
Really?
Yeah, that was just music.
Oh, wait. Isn't this like one of the longest intros?
Yeah, it's not the longest. Star Trek 3 is longer and has more clouds, but
Yes, that's the one we were talking about. Starring a man who talks like this.
I do love the font they use.
And also a Spock.
A man with 20
And a really
years.
old
Space
doctor.
Spock.
And a guy who needs more power. I can't do a proper Russian accent. Hello, I am Walter Koenig. Come see me at Khan before I die. I am George Takei. I was in the closet back then. Because fuck America.
Also, they didn't have.
I can't imitate Michelle
No.
Nichols.
Nope.
She'll come from the grave and kill me.
No, that'd be bad.
Who's BB Besh?
That is Dr. Carol Marcus, the little blonde scientist that in the second pilot for Star Trek: The Original Series,
Mhm.
his friend Gary Mitchell says that he had eyes for the little blonde scientist.
Oh, introducing.
And introducing Kirstie
Alley.
Alley as
I know,
Saavik.
sir.
I do too.
Ricardo Montalban.
The music that we're not
Also,
listening to right now, by the
Gene
way,
Roddenberry.
he was given an executive, but notice it was an executive consultant credit, not even a producer. James Horner, they did not have the money to bring Jerry Goldsmith back as part of the $400 or 400% drop in budget. James Horner was an unknown 27-year-old at the time.
Wow.
And he came in and did this movie. Now, it is funny. If you go back and listen to the music for, I believe it is Aliens, the second one, the second of the Alien series. He used basically the same.
Why is all this up front?
Also, this is the first time in
In
the
the
23rd
23rd
century, first time they had pegged down when Star Trek happened.
Oh, this is a neat little graphic. It's
Yep.
really Star Wars: A New Hope.
The company that did
Oh,
these
look! It's closed caption.
Star Trek coordinates
My name is
2287-4.
Uhura. Do
They're asking
communication
about-
stuff.
Yeah, oh my gosh, and it's not getting everything because I know there's more.
This
there.
is great.
Leaving
Hi,
section
I'm in the
14
captain's
for
chair.
section 15.
Oh, I
Stand
know
by.
what this is.
Project
Kirstie
parabolic
Alley.
course to avoid entering neutral zone. I cannot believe I didn't wear my shirt tonight. That's the shirt that I
You
have.
that.
Is that
Oh, that's cool.
the person who did those
Listen,
graphics?
I know this is a Kobayashi Maru.
This
Why
is the
is it
Kobayashi
the
Maru.
man's-
The 19 periods out of Altair 6. We've struck a gravitic mine and have sustained.
Why is the leadership
Hull is
of the
penetrated.
Enterprise doing a training exercise?
Ah,
I mean, I know Spock is the trainer here.
Yep. Keep in mind, there are a lot of people in these cadet roles as well. In the neutral zone. Hull penetrated. Life support system failing.
Hull
Can you
penetrated.
assist us, Enterprise? Can you assist us?
What did you just say?
Hull penetrated.
Oh,
Kobayashi
I was
Maru
like,
is a
what are we
Class 3
penetrating?
neutronic fuel carrier. Damn. Again, half Romulan. I remind the captain by entering the starship into the zone. I'm aware of that. Yeah, no smoking at any time on bridge in the background there.
2200s.
Estimating 2 minutes to neutral zone. The company that came up with these graphics ended up shortly after this movie forming a new company in order to create software for vector graphics.
Yeah.
That company's name is Adobe, and what he was working on was called PostScript, which is one of the most well-known vector graphics available. Shields activated.
Okay, that's a neat
Former
little
Klingons were on
animation.
yes. Oh, the shield's coming up.
Yeah.
By the way, that's from the motion picture. That was the 3 Klingon ships at the beginning of the motion picture. We're in over our heads. I'll try, Captain. Alert! Klingon torpedoes activated. Alert! Alert! Bam!
Oh, fireworks!
Hey, there we go.
My name is Sulu, and I'm the first to die because they always
Engineering
kill the
damage
man
report.
first.
Main energizers hit, Captain.
Oh, that's Scotty.
On the audio.
Kaboom!
So interesting thing about those other, the cadet.
That was quite obviously a stunt double.
Yes. No power to the weapons, Captain. Oh, and our precious Spock just died. Well, now we got that taken care of. Captain, it's no use. We're dead in space. Send out the log buoy. Repeat. All hands abandon ship. Oh, activate escape pods. That's right. Send out the log buoy. All hands abandon ship. All hands abandon ship. All right. Open her up. Now, the funny thing is, the set is actually designed to do that so that it can bring the camera in. So it was just perfect that they were able to do that. Any suggestions, Admiral? Prayer, Mr. Saavik. Klingons don't take prisoners. Lights. Blowers on.
When is it revealed that he cheats to beat it? Is it in this?
Yeah,
movie
it's
or is
later
it
in this movie. Yeah,
2009?
no, it's
Okay.
later here. Captain, trainees to the briefing room. It isn't as annoying as it would be if you were hearing them say it at the same time that I was. Physician, heal thyself. Is that all you got to say?
Whoa.
What about my performance?
Hello.
I'm not a
Captain.
drama critic.
I know you're an old lady. Let's have a little deforestation.
Mr. Savick, are you going to stay
Mike
with the sinking
Kelly.
ship? So, what they're saying here is actually accurate in military parlance. An officer speaking with a junior officer would call them Mr. It is not a gender-based thing. So she's called Mr. Savick through the whole movie, and that's the way it should have been. And they're ranking here: white is command, red is
security, isn't it?
red is actually trainees here in this case,
Okay.
and or cadets, and
The first
and then you have
Man,
Science
you know,
is-
I've only lived in an era where William Shatner is as old as dirt, and that guy's dead. Actually,
Uh-huh.
all of them are dead. No,
Yeah,
the guy's alive.
yeah.
But damn, if he doesn't look good here.
Oh, he really does. What is that supposed to mean? Use of this facility with authorized supervision only. Here we go. Here we go. Aren't you dead? I assume you're loitering around here to find out what efficiency rating I plan to give your cadets. I am understandably curious. They destroyed the simulator room and you with it. The Kobayashi Maru scenario frequently wreaks havoc with students and equipment. By the way, Shatner was not supposed to look at the guy doing the cleaning there. Every take he did, he kept turning and looking at him, even though Nicholas Meyer kept telling him not to. And by the way, the area where Kirk and Spock here, that's the only part that's real. The rest of this is bird feeder that's sitting upside down and some other stuff that they superimpose later. Happy birthday. He's just given him the book, Best of Times, Worst of Times, A Tale of Two Cities. Captain Spock, space shuttle leaving in 15 minutes. Where are you off to now? The Enterprise. I must check in before your inspection. And you? Home.
Sir, you have a problem.
Okay, so there's the shelf we were talking
Yep.
about. There's also a Commodore PET computer over in the background that you can't see right here. The skyline back there is a matte painting from Terror, from the 70s terror movie, skyscraper airplane
Man,
crashing
he
in.
looks like every 90s old man getting ready to go play golf.
Beware Romulans bearing gifts. Here we go. The first time that Romulan ale got pulled out. And they have tried to replicate that bottle forever because it's actually a piece of lucite that was cut in concentric circles. And you can either just take off the top, or later on the same bottle is reused and they take the entire cone part off. Check out McCoy's pants. Those are weird.
They're like reverse chaps.
Uh-huh. Kinda. What is it? Klingon aphrodisiacs? No. It's for your eyes. More antiques for your collection. Bones. This is charming. They're 400 years old. You don't find many with the lenses intact. I don't know what to say. What is it? They're for your eyes. For most patients your age, I administer Retinox 5. I'm allergic to Retinox. Exactly. Cheers. Oh. I love his reaction to the Romulan ale. Happy birthday. I don't know what to say. We could say thank you. Thank you.
Put him glasses and alcohol.
Damn it, Jim. Damn it. Why are we?
I think I
What the
had
hell's
one
the
of
matter
those
with you?
chairs.
Oh, yeah. That's a
Wait.
very famous chair.
If you look at see where the red lights are?
Oh.
That looks like the backside of the dish of the Enterprise.
Yeah. Commodore PET computer there. All the antique guns. Love these two chairs. And I love this concave wall that's got the fireplace in it. It's perfect mix of weird, futuristic, but at the same time, antiques. You're hiding behind rules and regulations. Who am I hiding from? Yourself, Admiral. You want to be out there galloping cosmos. No, that's a different line. Sorry. Don't mince words, Bones. What do you really think? I'm your doctor and I'm your friend. Get back to your command. Get it back. before you really do become part of this collection. Turn into, sorry. Before you really do grow old. And that's the whole thing. Kirk's whole thing with antiques started there. And ever since then, it's assumed that he always had this thing about antiques.
So who's
All right.
on the Reliant?
So this is the Reliant, captained by Captain Terrell, Paul Winfield, who would later come back in the episode with Metaphors with Captain Picard. Shaka When the Walls Fell.
As the Temerian?
Uh-huh. And Chekhov is his number one. There's Terrell. And another interesting thing
Is he a Vulcan?
is John Winston, who is best known for playing Lieutenant Kyle in the original series, who was a transporter chief and several other things, is...
And who that
Oh, we picked up a minor energy flux reading on one
that
dino
Lieutenant
scanner.
Kyle now is very much not that guy.
He is not that guy.
He
Well,
was
he
a
passed.
Twink in a jumpsuit.
He passed away in 2019. But get on the comm pick to Dr. Marcus. That is Lieutenant Kyle. Same guy. They got the actor to come back, and now he's the communications officer on the Reliant.
Cool.
You know what she'll say. Let me get this straight. Something you could transplant? Something you could transplant? And notice the Billups tubes in the front. It may only be pre-animate matter. Then again, it may not. You boys have to be clear on this. There can't be so much as a microbe or the show's off. Why don't you go have a look? But if it can be moved, we're on it, Doctor. Or you bet, Doctor, we're on our way. Hey, hey. Well, don't have kittens. Jimis is going to work. They'll remember you in one breath. Newton, Einstein, Surak.
Who's Surak?
The Vulcan from...
Oh, yeah, the Confederacy of Surak. No, yes?
Yes. So this is Carol Marcus and her son David.
Right.
She was the little blonde tech. They totally retconned that story that she was the little blonde lab tech. Could be perverted into a dreadful weapon. Remember that overgrown Boy Scout you used to date? You used to hang around with? Listen, kid, that kind of... Jim Kirk was many things. He was never a Boy Scout. Captain Terrell, stand by to beam down. Now they're going to City Alpha 5, which is a barren waste world.
Wouldn't Chekhov have remembered this? Because I know he's like, what?
Aha! That is the thing. And this was actually one of the plot points that Gene Roddenberry was very upset with. Because in the Space Seed, oh no, this was City Alpha 6. Sorry. City Alpha 5 is where Khan and his crew were.
What are they here?
Aha. We shall see. There was a very interesting plot point here, including involving a child. In fact, we were seeing this in a recap to refresh my memory on some things. That Chekhov sees through a window, and they actually had to recut the scene because they had already filmed all of it. And so there's a couple of weird spots where reactions that have always seemed a little weird make a lot more sense when you know that they've just cut chunks of the film out.
That looks like a Winnebago.
Uh-huh. Remember, this is the garden spot of City Alpha 5, or City Alpha 6.
Garden spot.
Uh-huh. He had asked earlier about the winds and the storm, and Chekhov said, oh, this is the garden spot. This is the best it gets. I will say it is amazing how far they got the dollar to go on this stuff. A lot of it was rented. A lot of the scientific computer equipment and so forth was actually rented by a very well-known prop company in Hollywood.
It's been playing chess. Checkers.
Mm-hmm. Company called Modern Props is literally the name of it.
Back in the 80s.
Uh-huh. So at this point, Terrell is actually talking to the child because you'll notice the camera angle completely changes in his positioning. SS Botany Bay. Botany Bay. Oh no. Damn, we've got to get out of here. And see a totally different positioning now. He's actually kneeling down talking to the child. But this child was edited out, so you don't see that part. Check off. Come on, hurry. Now the child was there, and he said, well, what about the child? And he said, forget it. We've got to go. It turned into, what about the tricorder? Forget it. Let it go. Uh-oh. Starship Reliant to Captain Terrell. See, Commander Kyle now. Yes, because a little more time is always a good thing to do. The greatest reveals in history of a villain.
I like those gloves.
Uh-huh. Those were the...
I feel like he's wearing sequins and should be a drag queen.
God. So the environmental suits were reused from Star Trek: The Motion Picture. And those handles were new, the little handle things around their neck. Those weren't in the version from their first movie. And you'll see why they were added to this. But I never forget the face. It is Mr. Chekhov. So according to Walter Koenig, when he reviewed the movie when it was first originally put out, or before it went to theaters, when they were doing editing and so forth, he pointed out a lot of things that were inconsistencies and so forth. Totally missed and made a conscious effort to not tell them that he didn't join the show until season 2 of the series, in which case Khan would have never met Chekhov because Chekhov wasn't in that episode.
Continuity.
Marooned here 15 years ago by Captain James T. Kirk. Captain.
Why is it not? I thought it was SETI Alpha 5 is where they were at.
That
guy looks really familiar.
He is the gentleman that we saw in the episode of Next Generation recently.
Oh,
Yakim.
okay.
Do you mean he never told you the tale? To amuse your captain. No? Never told you how the Enterprise picked the Botany Bay lost in space from the year 1996. Myself and the ship's company in cryogenic freeze. I've never even met Admiral Kirk. Admiral. He never told you how Admiral Kirk sent 70 of us into exile on this barren sand heap, with only the contents of these cargo bays to sustain us. You lie! On City Alpha 5 there was life. Fair chat. This is City Alpha 5!
How do you fuck up that bad?
City Alpha 6 exploded 6 months after we were left here. The shock shifted the orbit of this planet, and everything was laid waste.
You know, knowing what we know now about
Admiral Kirk never bothered to check on our progress. Roddenberry was upset with the idea that they would have messed up the planet that it was on because it wasn't a barren place. And so,
Well, also, they would be dead.
Nicholas Meyer did go back and rewrite and added that scene, explaining after talking to a science advisor and explained that the one planet exploded, shifted the orbit of the other planet, and decimated it. Captain Kirk was your host, and you repaid his hospitality by trying to steal his ship and murder him. You didn't expect to find me here. You thought this was City Alpha 6. Oh, here we go. Watch this. Now, to be fair, he's on a crane.
Oh,
But-
well, yeah.
And that one doesn't quite fit him because that's actually Kirk's suit from the first movie. The only remaining indigenous life form. And it's funny, it's not the same, but don't those look a lot like the little creature from Conspiracy?
Quite a
The
bit.
little, yeah, they were kind of based on it, but they were not. It wasn't actually the same. And they've just explained, even though Marla McIvers was not even mentioned by name here, the actress was not available to reprise her role. They say that one of these creatures killed her, killed many of his crew, including his beloved wife. They don't even name her, but they at least say it carries its young in its little armored sections. Oh yeah. And it was spitting and making sounds. It literally kind of. So you see their young enter through the ears, wrap themselves around the cerebral cortex. The effect of rendering the victim extremely susceptible to suggestion. Later, as they grow, follows madness and death. These are pets. Of course.
They put it in the helmet.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
So for this scene, they made a massive pet cast of Walter Koenig's face. For this scene,
Mhm.
that's not actually his skin,
No.
but it enters their ear. Very disturbing.
Yeah.
Now, tell me. Oh, that's right. That's better. Now, tell me. Why are you here? And where can I find Admiral Kirk? Or James Kirk? Enterprise
toilet,
to Admiral
apparently.
Kirk shuttle. You're clear for docking. And again, reuse of footage from Star Trek: The Motion Picture instead of going with something else. They actually they filmed a bit here in the shuttle pod of them congratulating Sulu on gaining captain of the Excelsior. An entire movie before the Excelsior is brought out. Unfortunately, it got cut, so you don't find out that he was going to be captain, although it is in the novelization. I'm delighted. Any chance to go aboard the Enterprise. And you'll know that because the shuttle pod is going toward the engineering pod bay door, when in fact they actually are going up to the one beside the photon torpedo launcher. I'm glad to have you back for a week. I don't think these kids could steer. what he said. This is actually the Klingon bridge from the beginning of the motion picture, repainted and reused. Notice the little truss, the beams.
Yeah. He just gave her a book.
Tale of Two Cities. Ah, Mr. Scott, you old space dog, you're well. I had a wee bout, but Dr. McCoy pulled me through. That is an in-joke that was put in there. James Doohan had a heart attack about 3 weeks before he was supposed to start filming and was able to get in there. Midship, first class, Peter Preston, engineer's mate, sir. First training. Yes, sir.
He looks familiar. He looks like the kid from the Disney movies.
He
Witch's
may
Mountain.
actually have been in one of them. I don't remember.
He does look like that.
Now,
Why
all
are
of the
all these people on the left, on the right now, in the weird ass looking?
those are the engineering suits from the motion picture.
That's weird.
Those were the radiation suits.
Ah,
This scene was actually recorded and filmed in English, and then Mark Ogrand, who is known for writing the Klingon language, actually created words, and they overdubbed them later in Vulcan, so that they actually talked in Vulcan. Now, one of the first good places where you're going to see added footage that's not in the theatrical release is coming up here. He adds a little bit extra that explains who Peter Preston is, the young man you just met. And if you notice, they don't have the kids in the engineering suits in the background for force perspective. There's Peter Preston again. Here we go. I believe you'll find everything shipshape, Admiral. Oh,
But
do you?
I was right. It is him.
Do you have any idea, Midshipman Preston, how many times I've had to listen to Mr. Spock on the comm telling me of his trouble? Do you have any idea the ribbing I've had to endure and the officer's mess to the effect that the Enterprise is a flying death trap? This was not in the movie. This was added footage. Oh, no, sir. This is the finest engine room in the whole Starfleet. If the Admiral can't see the facts, then with all due respect, he's as blind as a Tiberian bat. Sir. Midshipman, you're a tiger. My sister's youngest Admiral. It is his nephew. This is going to come in handy later. Remember that.
I feel like that's out of line, but okay.
And now we're back to the regular movie. Give the word, Admiral. Mr. Scott, the word is given. Aye, sir. But Admiral, what about the rest of the inspection? Later. By the way, that's the elevator that you see later in The Next Generation. That little one man
cool.
in the engine room. Recycled footage now. Now we're onto the bridge. And if you notice, again, much darker, no more pastel hues. Everything's been brought down a lot. Even the screens are different. A lot of the screens are now video screens. The first movie, they had to use a projector for each individual screen from behind, and it was incredibly loud. These are video screens that they were able to key to 24 frames per second so that they wouldn't flicker. They would stay on continuously, and there was almost no noise comparatively. All moorings are cleared. Thank you. Lieutenant, have you ever piloted a starship out of space dock? Never, sir. Take her out, Mr. Savick. She's like, oh, okay. Would you like a tranquilizer?
Yeah, but she's not piloting it. She's just
For everything, there's a first time, Lieutenant. Don't you agree, Admiral? He's a little nervous. Would you like a tranquilizer? It had 1/4 impulse power. But we know it's all okay because it's footage from the motion picture and it doesn't crash. So. A lot of footage from the motion picture. It's okay, though. It's worth it. It's beautiful footage. There we go. Just remember, there was about 5 minutes of this in the
That model
picture.
is fucking huge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 12 feet long.
Mm-hmm. It's 11 feet long, but yes. However, the ship will look different later. ILM actually took over the duties of handling the special effects for this movie, and they used blue screen, whereas Doug Trumbull, the original visual effects person for the motion picture, did not. He used black screen and a different process, and the beautiful pearlescent 5-color paint job that it had totally disappeared because the blue would all reflect on it and it would just disappear. Just like we have problems when one of us wears green and are on camera.
And we vanish into the
Mhm.
wilderness.
So they actually sprayed dulling compounds on it and puffed powder on it.
Yeah.
So as the movie goes, you'll see the ship looks a lot more dull and flat looking. See, nothing to worry about. Now we're back to Regular One, Space Station Regular One, which in itself is actually a reuse of the executive complex flipped upside down from the first movie. At the beginning, where Kirk came in, beamed in, and you took the travel pod. Yeah, I'll show you later. And here we have Genesis, the device itself. It's the Starship Reliant. This is Reliant calling Regular One. Repeat, this is USS Reliant. Commander, we are receiving. This is Regular One, go ahead. Dr. Marcus, good. We're en route to you and should be there in 3 days. En route? Why? We weren't expecting you for 3 months. Nothing has happened. City Alpha 6 has checked out. And I don't understand. Why are you coming? We've received new orders. Upon arrival to Regular One, all materials of Project Genesis will be transferred to this ship for immediate testing on City Alpha 6. Who in the hell? Please be quiet. Commander Chekhov, this is completely irregular. The order comes from Starfleet Command Dr. Marcus, direct from General Staff. I have my orders. Who gave the order? The order comes from Admiral James T. Kirk. I knew it. Knew it. Militaries always wanted to get their hands on this. No intention of allowing a Reliant or anyone with unauthorized personnel access to our worker materials. Admiral Kirk orders are confirmed. Reliant, please prepare to deliver Genesis upon our arrival. Reliant out. Boop. You realize, sir, they will attempt to contact Admiral Kirk and confirm the orders. Oh, we're back. I mean, we didn't go anywhere. I don't know what you're talking about.
Phase variance in the universe. Why, hello. Historically.
Are you wearing your hair differently?
Historically, male character. I'm a helpless female in a white nightgown. I'm going to press this button hurriedly to get the fuck out of this elevator.
Self-expression doesn't seem to be one of your problems. That's
I'll
a joke.
express you.
You're bothered by your performance on the Kobayashi Maru. I failed to resolve the situation. There is no resolution. It's a test of character. May I ask how you dealt with the test? You may ask. That's a joke. Humor. It's a difficult concept. Who's been holding up the damn elevator? Did you change your hair? Hadn't noticed. Wonderful stuff, that Romulan ale. Admiral Kirk. Compic. Oh. I love that pattern on the back. It's like an egg crate, but it's vacuum formed. It's 3D.
Took all the little peanuts from the packing.
Oh, there's the 80s right there.
What's wrong? What's the matter? Why are you taking Genesis away from us? Why are you taking Genesis? Who's taking Genesis?
Way to go about that conversation.
I can see you, but I can't hear. Carol, Jim, did you give the order? What order? Who's taking Genesis? Please help us, help us, help us. I will not let them take Genesis without proper shepherd. No one's authority. What's happening? Transmission jammed at the source, sir. Alert Starfleet headquarters. I want to talk to Starfleet Command. Must have order. There has to be some mistake. Mistake? We're all alone here. They waited till everyone was on leave to do this. Reliant is supposed to be at our disposal, not vice versa. Starfleet never I cannot and will not believe Starfleet. Oh, this is part where they changed it. They added additional footage. I cannot subscribe to your interpretation of this event. You may be right, Doctor, but Reliant's on her way. Well, what about Reliant? She's on her way. This is not in the original footage. Get your stuff. Where are we going? It's for us to know and Reliant to find out. We get to see Spock's quarters for the first time since the original show.
Vulcan prayer thing.
Oh, disco.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, yeah.
Isn't that cool? Those are beads, and it's an IDIC symbol.
What the fuck is that?
Infinite diversity and infinite combination.
Oh, gotcha.
With the
little symbol,
infinity mirror. Symbol. Well, yeah, but no. Have you ever seen the IDIC symbol?
Nope.
And it's the Vulcan symbol of.
Hey, he's got a mirror like what you bought me.
That's
much bigger.
That's exactly why I bought it for you, actually.
Oh.
The IDIC symbol, infinite diversity and infinite combination.
The symbol of the Vulcans.
Yeah. As a teacher on a training cruise, I am content to command the Enterprise. If we were to go on actual duty, it's clear that the senior officer on board must assume command. It may be nothing. Garbled communications. You take the ship. Jim, you proceed from a false assumption. I am a Vulcan. I have no ego to bruise. You're about to remind me that logic alone dictates your actions. I would not remind you of that which you know so well. If I may be so bold, it was a mistake for you to accept this promotion. Commanding a starship is your first best destiny.
What is
anything
series
else is a waste of material.
Allows, or which series is it that shows us how logic can be used and weaponized? It's not Disco, is it?
No.
Was it on Voyager?
It may have been on Enterprise.
No, because it was something I recently watched. Or maybe it was Strange.
Maybe it was Voyager.
I think it was Voyager. How pure logic can be used to justify anything.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think it was one of the times. It's when Tuvok gives the dude the thing for the Uber speed device.
Oh yeah.
He gives the beta base or something.
Stop the Energizers. Stop Energizers. Put me on speakers. An emergency situation has arisen. By order of Starfleet Command, as of now 1800 hours, I'm assuming command of this vessel. Duty officer, sign off in the ship log. So, a note here, all of these cadet uniforms that have the off-white on the top and the maroon on the bottom that you see, those are actually the pajama uniforms from Star Trek The Motion Picture. They added a belt to them and dyed them the proper color. But if you look at them real close, they still have the little rank insignias on the shoulders, the little pellets on the shoulders.
Warp 5.
Aye, sir. So much for the little training cruise.
It's funny that that's their, like, The Enterprise D, you can go, what, 9.2 or something?
Mm-hmm. Well, and it gets to a point where if you're too close to something and you go to a higher warp, you just go right past it. So, too fast.
Yeah.
We're all with you, sir. But you have Genesis. But consider this. You're free. We have a ship and the means to go where we will. He tasks me. This is one of the noted monologues of the movie.
You're not going to say it word for word?
He tasks me. He tasks me, and I shall have him. I will chase him round the moons of Nibia, round the Antares maelstrom, round perdition's flames before I give him up. Prepare to alter course. There's no response from regular one, but there's no longer jamming. No, sir. No, nothing. There's one of two choices. There are two possibilities. They are unwilling to respond, or unable to respond, or unwilling to respond. How far? 12 hours, 43 minutes, present speed. Give up Genesis, she said. Give it up to whom? Well, what does God's name mean? Give it up to whom? I'd help my analysis if I knew what Genesis was, beyond the biblical references. Have Dr. McCoy meet us in our quarters. Mr. Savick, you have the Khan. And Kirk's quarters have been totally redone, much darker, new. Those are actually cabinets on the wall that have a little roll top. But when I was young, I thought it was very funny because they looked like the nacelles on the outside of the ship. Identify for retina scan. Kirk, Admiral James T. Yeah, that's one of the cheesiest parts of that. That's definitely not. And this is great. This is the recording of Genesis, and this has the longest to date in 1982 computer-generated imagery, CG, created by a company who, in a few months after this, would change their name. They were a part of ILM at the time, and they would change their name to Pixar. So this is one of the first things Pixar ever did.
That's cool.
Second stage would be conducted in a lifeless moon body or other, lifeless form. It's our intention to deliver the Genesis device to a pre-selected area, a moon or other dead form. The device is delivered instantaneously, causing what we call the Genesis effect. Matter is reorganized with life-generating results. And the people at Pixar at the time knew how to do spheres, craters, and vector mountain graphics really well. So they did all of that in here. Fascinating. The reformed moon simulated here represents the merest fraction of the Genesis potential, should the Federation wish to fund these experiments to their logical conclusion. When we consider the problems of population and food supply, the usefulness of this process becomes clear. This concludes our proposal. Thank you for your attention. It literally is Genesis. Power of creation.
How long does the process take?
6 minutes. I assume they've reached stage
about that?
Yeah, no. In fact, I was about to say, dear Lord, do you think we're intelligent enough to? Suppose, what if this thing was used where life already exists? It would destroy such life in favor of its new matrix. In its new matrix. Do you have any idea what you're saying? I was attempting to evaluate its moral implications. As a matter of cosmic history, it's always been easier to destroy than to create. Not anymore. Now we can do both at the same time. According to myth, the Earth was created in 6 days. Now watch out. Genesis will do it for you in 6 minutes.
I love DeForest Kelly.
Yeah, he's great. In the wrong hands. Would you mind telling me whose are the right hands, my logical friend? That actually was not in the original theatrical version. This entire part here, it went directly from in 6 minutes to Kirk saying, okay, guys, break it up. Logic says, yes. Oh my God, the man's talking about logic. We're talking about universal Armageddon. You green-blooded, inhuman. Bridge to Admiral Kirk. Here we go. What do you make of her? It's one of ours. It's Reliant. So, by the way, notice a fire extinguisher attached to the wall. Gene Roddenberry was very upset with the no smoking sign. So on the actual ship, the no smoking sign doesn't exist. The Reliant,
That's a terrible picture.
when the Reliant was originally imagined, it was going to
It's
be
imposing as hell, though.
Yeah, it was going to be the same class, a Constitution 2 class ship. However, they decided that when you're playing a game of cat and mouse, when you're playing dogfighting, you really got to know which is which. So they came up with this draft of this idea for the ship, a sketch of it, handed it to Harv Bennett, the executive producer, who said, this is great. I love it, especially the juxtaposition of putting the engines at the bottom. And they're like, it's upside down, sir. They had done it with the nacelles on the top. It literally was flipped upside down from that. And he says, no, I like this, do this. And that's how they ended up making it. Let them eat static. They're still running with shields down. Of course, we are one big happy fleet. And here we go. Kirk, my old friend. Do you know the Klingon proverb that tells us that revenge is a dish best served cold? It is very cold in space.
I like this little Starfleet necklace.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the missing
want
little
it.
chunk. This is damn peculiar. Here we go. Yellow alert. Now look at this. We've never seen these panels before, although that's kind of cool. They're charging up their phasers. They're getting everything ready. I'm getting a voice message. They said their chambers coil is overloading their comm system. Scanning. Their coil emissions are normal. Here we go. They still haven't raised their shields. Raise ours. They're raising, the shields are going up. Lock phasers on target. Locking phasers on target. They're locking phasers on target. Raise shields. Fire! Man, this is, right on the engineering deck. Just right there. Woo!
No one guy's on the elevator.
Get those shields up. Trying, sir.
How is that going down with a giant cylinder in the way?
It's cutting right through it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can
Although, if you look at it and stare at it for a moment, it's the same blast door that they use in Next Generation. They repainted it, but it's the same door. And everybody's getting their air masks. And Peter Preston just yanked somebody out of the way, but got stuck himself. Mr. Scott on the screen. We're just hanging on, sir. Main energizer's out. Don't know what an energizer is. After this movie, they never name it again. Damage report. They knew exactly where to hit us. Who knew? And why? As he look, he's actually pointing out where they were hit.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
$255 fucking dollars.
Well, people can do it.
I wonder if Mike can print.
Hang on.
Here we go.
Hang on. Divert power to phasers. Too late. Hang on. Bam. Woohoo!
Everything's on fire.
Here we go. Yeah, literally.
You don't want to use that fire extinguisher.
I was going to
now.
say, well, and I think somebody actually grabs it here in a moment. You see him grab it and start.
Why is he manually unhooking himself? But did you see
There's
that?
there's a reason. You'll see it in a minute. Not enough against their shields. Who the hell are they? The commander of the Reliant is signaling. He wishes to discuss terms of our surrender. Bow, wow, wow, wow.
What the fuck was that?
That was the sound that you would have heard.
Oh, okay.
There was actually a little bit of the music, the soundtrack. While we still have time. You still remember, Admiral. I'm touched. I cannot help but be touched. I, of course, remember you. I mean, to avenge myself upon you, Admiral. I deprive you of your ship of your power, and when I swing around, I will deprive you of your life. But I wanted to know first who it had been, who it was who had beaten you. If it's me you want, I'll have myself beamed over. I'll make you a counter proposal. I'll agree to your terms if, in addition to yourself, you hand over to me all data and materials regarding the project called Genesis. Genesis, what's that? Don't insult my intelligence. Give me time to recall the data on our computers. I'll give you 60 seconds. Ah, see, the guy's got the fire extinguisher in the background there. Clear the bridge, everyone. Get out. At least we know he doesn't have Genesis. Keep nodding as though I'm still giving orders. I love this. He is so masterful at this. Mr. Savick. Alliance command console. Prefix code. That's all we've got. You have to learn, Mr. Savick, why things work the way they do on the starship. We're finding it. Please, you have to give us time. The bridge is smashed. Computer's inoperative. Time is a luxury you do not have, Captain. Or Admiral. Gosh. So, look, damn. He didn't want anybody to see him putting the glasses on. Coming through now, Khan.
You think he'll ever come back?
I think it's a reasonable possibility. 16309. You have to learn why things work on a starship. Each ship has its own combination code to prevent an enemy from doing what we're attempting. We're using our console to order Reliant to lower their shields. Assuming he hasn't changed the combination, he's quite intelligent. 15 seconds, Admiral. He's been calling out the time this whole time. How do we know we keep your word? Oh, I've given you no word to keep, Admiral. You simply have no alternative. I see your point. Stand by to receive our transmission. Mr. Sulu, lock phases on target and await my command. Phases locked. He does it just like that. Time's up, Admiral. Here it comes. Now. Boop, 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 beep, 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 beep. Literally, that's the sound. I didn't just do that. What? Raise them. I can't, sir. The override. Where's the override? Here we go. Where's the override? The override. Fire. Bam. And impulse deflection crystal destroyed.
Ooh.
large chunk of stuff. Fire! Fire! We can't fire, sir. Why can't you? They've damaged the
'Cause
photon
you're wrestling
controls
me.
and the warp drive. We must withdraw. No, no, sir, we must. And just barely made it over.
I thought you were farting.
Oh no. The Enterprise will wait, so she's not going anywhere. Whereas the Reliant is at quite some speed. You did it. I did nothing except for get caught with my bridges down. And he says that so fast that it took me years to understand what he was actually saying there. Mr. Savick, you go right on quoting regulations. Meanwhile, let's find out how badly we've been hurt.
Yeah.
And no reason for Mr. Scott to bring somebody up to the bridge.
Yeah.
But that's what he did. He's realizing his trainees have been injured.
That's the nephew?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Sick bay. Notice how so much of that looks a little like Next Generation, especially the biobeds, because they are. Now, there's a large chunk of this that was actually not in the original theatrical release.
I did just want to say James Doohan's a boss, just hefting a dude.
Uh-huh. Although that's one of the things over the years that everybody has made fun of is that there was absolutely no reason for him to bring him up to the bridge.
Right? Oh, I thought he was dead.
I thought he was too.
Is the word given, Admiral? Word is given. Warp speed.
And dead.
Aye. Thump. That's actually the main bed in the middle of sickbay that Crusher uses all the time.
And now is he dead?
Now he's dead. He stayed at his post when the trainees ran. Oh, no, this is the added footage. He wants to kill me for passing sentence on him 15 years ago. That wasn't in the theatrical version. He doesn't stand, who doesn't care who stands between him and his vengeance. I'm sorry, that's back to he stayed at his post when the trainees ran. Admiral, this is Spock. Engine room reports auxiliary power restored. We can receive an impulse power. Best speed to regular line. Kirk out. I'm sorry. Thanks.
I didn't remember that Tony Malone died. That was his character in Return to Witch Mountain.
This was also not in the original. How did he know about Genesis? Back to only alive because I knew something about the ships that he didn't. Notice the signs in the back: burn ward, emergency. They approaching Regula and Space Lab Regula 1.
Just need regular Badlands?
It's not.
That seems kind of dumb. Like Uhura is just shouting into the void.
Yeah. And all of these,
anybody in there?
all these consoles, if you watch any almost battles, the original Battlestar Galactica, Buck Rogers, Knight Rider, all of them had all of those consoles because they all rented
the
them.
damage is repaired.
Nope, other side.
Oh. You wanted to see the blood on the white. That's why.
Yep. Because he put his hand on his chest. That was. You've seen him do that in other Trek movies as well. This wasn't an only time thing. Class D consists of various unremarkable ores.
Demon class. What's the weirdest way you think Voyager died?
That is a random out of left field question I was not
Yeah, there's
expecting.
a reason.
I loaded up specifically Trek 2. I had to temporarily erase and reformat everything else.
I think it was Goo Voyager.
Oh, probably.
The Class D planet brought that to mind.
Ah, yeah. We will. Spock is just told him to be safe. And Savik's going with him.
Didn't she die in this?
No. She's around for many, many, many years.
Then why did we get a shuttle named
And I
Savick?
still love this transporter effect out of all of them. The horizontal line that they didn't ever have in any other movie.
I feel like you shouldn't be able to move until that thing is done materializing.
Oh, not only do they move, in this one you actually have two people that talk. Kirk and Savick talk during it, which is kind of strange. And there we go. Where did I put my phaser? Oh, it's up here. That's the phaser he's holding.
As you say, it's not on camera, but
See, the motion
Uhura
picture
is still shouting into the void.
and Star Trek 2 phaser.
JDK sensors symphostasis.
And those field jackets, which for those of you who've seen Picard season 3, was definitely Dr. Crusher's jacket was definitely an
Why is there a
homage to
fucking
that
rat on a space station?
because it was they needed something to scare McCoy so that he could then turn around and have the jump scare of the hand.
And it's a science.
Thermonics. Yep.
So
Space lab.
they
Regular
would
one.
have had.
Yeah, they would have had rats.
Sure.
See? Whoops. Bloody hand. Bloody person. Jim! Yeah. Rigor hasn't set in. No, he says that a moment.
Uh-huh.
Here we go. Yeah. Rigor hasn't set in.
Well, at least there's that.
Admiral, over here.
Can somebody fucking talk to Uhura? Like, the poor girl's been calling for 20 minutes.
This set was actually used as late as Generations. The Armagosa Observatory that they go to at the beginning was this room.
That's cool.
Watch this. He just punches it. I love it. And boop. And she jumps. Oh my God. Please acknowledge signal. Please.
Why did they leave Chekhov?
Commander Uhura, this is Lieutenant Savick. We're all right. Please stand by. Out.
So, wait, let me make sure I understand this. She just spent so long yelling to try to get them to
Yes.
talk to her. They're like, we're here. Shut up.
Yeah, pretty much. But creatures in our bodies.
Ooh, kinky. That's some Eastern
Now-
European shit.
I don't know why, but Walter Koenig goes into a dead stare directly at the camera. I don't know why more people haven't ever noticed this, but my brother and I used to just cackle
That
about
guy
this.
looks like he's fucked.
Now look,
Yeah.
he looks straight at the camera for
Hello,
the rest
Walter.
of the scene and totally dead-eyed.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I'm telling you. He doesn't.
Why?
It's like he froze. it's like
He's not blinking.
his yes, I know.
Why is he not? He's
His-
Russian. That's why he's. not
His program crashed and he's rebooting.
Oh my God. blinking. It's an error of the Matrix.
He had to get back to Reliant in time to blow you to bits. And Captain Terrell was amazing. As much as Paul Winfield was awesome in Next Generation.
Oh, look, he blinked.
There
That's
he goes.
what
Yeah, now he had just enough time to reboot. Escape pods are all in place. Where's the transporter room? This is the
Story
console
of-
from the back of the captain's chair on the Klingon ship at the beginning of
I
Star
just
Trek:
think
The
that
Motion
looks like
Picture.
a very Klingon.
Uh-huh. They changed some of the diagrams, but not many of them. And it fits in perfectly with it. They just moved it over here. These coordinates are deep inside Regula, a planetoid we know to be lifeless.
God bless this movie.
Stage 2 is complete. It's going to be underground, she said. Stage 2 of what? An update of the Star Trek communicator. They went back from the watch design from the motion picture to the flip top, except for it's a heavily militarized version. If you look, it's actually tarnished.
Wow.
Uh-huh. It's a big box.
Looks
Won't have main power for 6 days. It looks,
almost like a cheese grater.
yeah, I know.
They can hear this?
Uh-huh.
Why?
Because remember, they've got Chekhov and Terrell now.
The bugs on them.
Mm-hmm.
They're being
Captain
bugged.
Spock.
That's weird.
If you don't hear from us within 1 hour, your orders are to restore what power you can, take the Enterprise to the nearest starbase, and alert Starfleet Command. Or if you don't hear from us in an hour, there won't be anyone left behind.
Is Uhura in charge?
No, well, technically Spock's in charge.
Scott's and Spock.
Spock.
Captain Spock and Scott and Scott and Spock.
Where are they going? Where they went? What if they went nowhere? Well, this will be a big chance to get away from it all. That's what he says.
Ow, my hair.
Because they could be beaming down into solid rock. That would suck.
Yeah.
Why are they taking down the two guys with shit in the brain?
Because they don't know about that yet.
He literally
He
said
said they put creatures.
Oh, well, yeah.
like, I think they should be into the Enterprise with McCoy.
Mm-hmm.
And again,
I don't
love
know,
the
maybe-
transporter effect. Notice that door in the back looks suspiciously like one that you've seen on Next Generation.
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And lots of, again, props from Next Generation, the buoys and things.
What looks very much like the Apollo space capsule.
There we go. And, oh, hey, look. It's Genesis. The Genesis
Just
device. Yep. Genesis. Up, rattling.
I do want one of those coats.
Yeah, I know. The coats are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Phasers down. Whew. Whew. Going after him with a knife.
Double fist him.
Jim, I'm Dr. Marcus. Wait, what? Wait, what?
Got that curly hair to match.
Mm-hmm.
He's starting to...
Mm-hmm.
Is that David? He killed everyone we left behind. Of course he didn't. You're only making this harder. Or you're just making this harder. I'm afraid it's harder than you think, Doctor.
Giggity.
Boop! And here we go. Your Excellency, we've been listening.
Excellency.
Knew it, you son of a whoops. And that guy's gone.
Who was that guy?
The other guy,
Oh, the random.
Jeddah was his name, but what's the delay? All is well, sir. You have the coordinates to beam up Genesis. First things first. Kill Admiral Kirk.
You think he'd want to do that with his own two hands?
Well, yeah, but he was busy filming Fantasy Island and they couldn't get their day straight.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally what happened. The two of them never share a scene in this entire movie
Yeah, I know.
because he was on TJ Hooker, he was on Fantasy Island. They're having a really hard time, and now Terrell's about fed up with it. Oh. Nope, nope, nope. And he's gone. And Chekhov gets to scream again. Walter Koenig also joked that this movie should have been called Star Trek II, the one where Chekhov screams again. Because he screamed in the motion picture too when he was zapped by the console. For God's sakes.
They got bigger.
Ploop.
Quite a bit thicker.
And the coolest phaser effect that I've ever seen. It's like 5 beams making a line, but it makes like a flat horizontal line of phaser. Khan, you bloodsucker. You're going to have to do your own daughter work now. You're going to have to come down here. You have to come down here. My old friend. Still alive, though. Still old friend. Like a poor marksman, you've managed to kill just about everyone else. You keep missing the target. And now we're going to beam up Genesis. And if you didn't notice before, that was the Enterprise's display, and they used black tape to cover up the parts of the ship that aren't on the Reliant. See? Look. Yeah, in the background. Uh-oh. No. Don't try to.
There's like a bunch of other shit around it, too.
You have Genesis. You got Genesis. But you don't have me. You're going to kill me. You're going to have to come down here. You're going to have to come down here. I've done far worse than kill you. I've hurt you. I wish to go on hurting you. I shall leave you as you left me, as you left her, buried alive, marooned for all eternity at the center of a dead planet. Buried alive. Buried alive. He does say it a second time. Khan! I can't believe you didn't do it.
I thought it was in the other place.
Oh. Oh. Boy. Yeah, see, that's a huge mammoth communicator.
Yes, it is.
I thought that he does that when Spock dies.
No. That's, you're thinking of the 2011
Oh,
movie.
motherfucker.
If Enterprise followed orders, she's long since gone. If she couldn't obey, she's finished. So are we, it looks like. I don't understand. Who's responsible for all this? Who is Khan? Well, it's a long story. Well, we appear to have plenty of time.
The little fucker's not wrong.
If you notice, though, this is the exact outfit he wore in the Star Trek.
Generations.
Well, it's similar to Generations, but more appropriately in the new, in the Otoy.
Yeah.
That's what they were going for, was that specific.
I have a moral issue with bringing back some of these actors. Like, obviously, Shatner's alive, consent, but Nimoy, DeForest Kelly.
Nimoy
Scotty.
actually gave permission before his death to continue using. They knew that they were working on something, and his wife was the executive producer of that Otoy project.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was a well-known thing. And same with Major Barrett
Roddenberry. They're getting ready to do a movie around James Dean.
Yeah, I've seen.
So I'm like,
that.
what in the hell? Like, just cast Austin Butler and be done with it, y'all.
Yeah.
I mean,
sure, no.
Like, you have to redo. Like,
in this case, some of the early work was already in process before Leonard Nimoy died, so he was aware of it and had actually given his blessing. That's a specific. It's a different situation.
But I'm worried that we're going to get to a place like Rogue One was right after Carrie Fisher died, and of course, dude who played Tarkin,
his family sued. In fact,
oh god, what was the guy's name? Peter Cushing had been dead for decades.
His family apparently did sue.
Well, they should have, because that CGI was atrocious.
Well,
but like I don't know if it's in poor taste or what, but
yeah, no, I get it.
It's hard.
I think it's amazing
to make that choice,
to be able to do that type of thing in the right situation. But going forward, all actors' contracts and everything is going to have to be based on whether or not they agree to that.
Yes.
And if they agree to it, I'm all for it. I think it's a great idea.
I mean, sure, but here's the thing: like, I think we shortchange ourselves because Zachary Quinto is a great Spock,
Sure.
and if we just kept taking somebody and shellacking on a CGI Leonard Nimoy for the rest of the time, we might have the most amazing Kirk out there somewhere. Like, I'm
We
sorry,
do.
but Paul Wesley's
grown on me quite a bit.
He's grown on me more than he did, but he's not.
And I hate to.
Did I pause this?
No.
Oh, they're just not moving.
Worn
This
out.
is called acting.
He feels old and worn out.
It's
And she's about to say, let me show you something that will make you feel young as when the world was new.
it's called
So
my
young.
pussy.
I mean, folks, it was nice being able to spend time with you all these years on YouTube. No, this is a very interesting scene here as she's walking him in. They had no idea. He had said earlier, wait, this isn't Genesis? And he said, this took the Starfleet Corps of Engineers 10 months in flight suits to be able to do that. What we did in there, we did in a day. And this is for matte paintings. You did all of this in a day? Matrix formed in a day. Life forms grew later at an accelerated rate, substantially accelerated rate. Can I cook or can't I? For matte paintings, it's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
Can I cook or can't I?
Of course,
that's all just so beautiful.
The lady in the 80s would say.
Yeah, well, you know. Aha. Where are they? I love this pensive pose that he does.
Aha!
Here we go. You asked about this. Sir, may I ask you a question? What's on your mind, Lieutenant? Kobayashi Marshu. How, if we're playing, yeah. On the test, sir, what did you? I'd really like to know. What did you do? We're looking at the only Starfleet cadet that ever beat the no-win scenario. Boop boop. I reprogrammed the simulation so it was possible to rescue the ship. What? He cheated. Changed the conditions of the test. Got commendation for original thinking. That's where all of that came from in Star Trek 2009. They had to do all that because he had already said it had happened. I don't believe in the no-win scenario. By the way, boop, boop. Spock.
Meritocracy, ladies and gentlemen.
It's 2 hours. Are you ready? Right on schedule. Give us the coordinates. They're like, wait. All right.
Oh,
I don't like to lose. Here we go. Damage report. We were immobilized. Captain said it would be two. They were sitting there talking as they were beaming. I do love that transporter room.
I like how they're Mr. Rogers ring. Rogers ring. They're Mr. Rogering.
Uh-huh.
Rogers ring.
You lied.
Rogers
I exaggerated. Hours instead of days. Except for this time they walk a different way that you don't normally walk out of. And I do love the one wall that they use later in Next Gen, but with the flat wall on the other side.
Yeah.
They never did that in Next Gen. They only used the double-sided one. And if you notice, these little
Why are they going through a Jeffries tube?
These little columns here, though, those are those, like, tubes that were seen all the time in the transporter room when they were testing the transporters in Next Gen.
Nice.
They just stacked them on top of each other. And on the other side of the moon.
So they hit.
Yep. There we go. Admiral and Bridge battle stations. I do like that. As all the decks are reporting in for battle stations. Tactical.
Civil War.
There's the Matara Nebula. 153. Energizes. Bypass like a Christmas tree. Trouble with the negative. All of the static discharging gas. Clouds are tactical display. Visuals won't function. Shields will be useless. Sauce for the goose. I have no idea what that means. Sauce for the goose, Mr. Savick. The odds will be even. It's one of those things. I've always thought when I was younger that when I was older I would understand what that. And I guess it. Back to the militaristic. And they did this in Star Trek 6, if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
I always showed clips of them going down the.
We have been over. This is the end of my experience with Star Trek movies. And I saw this when I was like 12.
Dun, 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 dun. The most inefficient way to load a photon torpedo.
Oh, shit.
Is
that how it's loaded every time?
Yes.
What the hell?
It takes forever.
Who designs a battleship like that?
My guess is it probably that's probably loading in 4 or 5 or 6 of them ahead of time. So they're getting it ready. There she is.
Why does he now have a giant scar?
After that stuff all came down.
Oh, okay. Not that I'm staring at.
By the way, that is actually his chest. That is not a prosthetic.
Yeah, I read that the other day too.
Mr. Fantasy has a nice chest.
You've been talking a lot. We're going to fawn over Montalban's
That's
chest.
fine. Go for it.
Just fucking
now, these backgrounds, which were created in a... I always wanted to see what Spock was
Ladies
looking
and gentlemen, it is midnight, so we are running on E.
Just like in the old TV series, when Spock would look down into that little periscope thingy, I always wanted to see what was on that little display that was flashing the blue up in his face. If they go in there, we'll lose them. Explain it to them. This is kind of cool. You see, it doesn't hit. It gets real close and goes right past. By the way, that's Dr. Crusher's office later, repurposed a little bit, and part of engineering in the movie, in the TV show. Remember when I talked about Picard's old ship, the Stargazer?
Yeah.
These are those seats that had the headrest that was in like 3 different positions.
Nice.
And when you close down the seatbelt thingies on them, because each one of them have little clamshell things that can close down, and when they do, the headrest pops up.
Random ass kid on the brain.
Yeah. We daren't follow him into the nebula, sir.
So this battle is a lot of the inspiration for the first few episodes of Picard 3, right?
Oh, yeah. Oh, very much. Although it's funny because I'm laughing at the spirit. Full impulse power. Full power, damn you! Does it himself. I don't know what that was for.
It's slamming it in the gear.
Buttons.
Was Kirk grinning?
Yeah.
So have you ever played
been
Star Trek
taunting
Armada?
I've seen it. I probably did 20 years ago.
In the base game, there are a few types.
Emergency lights.
Nebulas.
Uh-huh.
There's a red one, which I don't know the name to.
If you remember, the Borg followed the Enterprise D through this in beginning of...
I don't.
When we get to that episode, when the Borg finally show up, they actually use these backgrounds and just composited in the Enterprise D. It's the same nebula.
There's a
guy's like, oh, sorry, boss.
red nebula that beats the shit out of you when you go into it.
Uh-huh.
A green one that I think just turns off like your special weapons and shields.
Mm.
But if you go in the blue one, you become invisible. And you can hide fleets of ships inside of it.
Yeah.
So now you can't see out, so you got to put a ship out there to lure things to you.
Uh-huh.
But then your whole fleet just mollywops them.
Well, and that makes sense because without the tactical display, you can't tell what else is in there. And this is the great cat and mouse. I love this because you start seeing the ships on different. See,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Star Trek so rarely uses a different plane for for X and Y and Z.
That's why I like the battle at the end of Discovery Season 2.
Yeah.
Because it very much showcases Starfleet ships should not be like spaceborne fighters.
Nope.
They're battleships. They are submarine heavy cruisers.
Here we go. They're finally getting the upper hand. Phaser lock and operative. Best guess. Here we go. Doesn't really get him. Just does a little whoops. Ting! Aft torpedoes. Fire! And of course, they fire off way off course.
Yeah.
Because that's all you got to look at. Look sharp. Great shot there. Everybody.
V'ger?
Yeah. So everybody's just waiting. This is about to be bad. But they don't know it. Until now. Uh-oh. Phaser's starboard. Oh, that torpedo room just got blown to... Yep, smithereens. Fire.
That guy's on fire.
Fire. Oh. Isn't that the spot they just hit before?
No.
So now they've hit it again. Well,
No,
it's
they hit a
actually was
spot
pretty
behind
close.
it. Yeah.
And
Well, there's your bridge crew, Khan.
You sure are strong.
he did manage to throw something. There we go. Here we go.
Oh, he's
It's
looking
the
at his age.
radiation. I've done that before to you. It's radiation as he starts to drop.
And the doctor's randomly in engineering
Mm-hmm.
with a sick bay full of people.
His superior. Joachim was actually his kind of right-hand man in the original episode of Space Heat, played by a different person, and the name was spelled differently. The character's name, for some reason, was spelled differently.
That's dumb.
But that's okay
Are those
because
hangars?
yes, that's actually the shuttle bays. And it's funny.
Check off the guns.
Joachim, the actor, inadvertently, there was a miscommunication, and he asked to not be he wanted to be originally in billing up front at the beginning of the movie.
Yeah.
And he authorized his agent to waive that. But what the agent ended up doing was waiving his billing altogether, so he doesn't show up in the credits anywhere.
Wow.
He just said the two-dimensional thing that you've heard me say before, that he thinks two-dimensionally. He's intelligent, but he thinks two-dimensionally.
Are they diving? Is that what this is supposed to symbolize?
I believe it actually is. And you get to see Chekhov grab his joystick.
Oh, wow.
Rated R
I
Star
didn't
Trek,
know
y'all.
it was that kind of movie.
Thank you, my joystick.
I had a feeling you'd like that.
And then plug it in. You can play with it if you'd like.
Yeah, it just
It's very sensitive.
comes right out of the slot.
Bend it on its axis.
There we go.
Like discount white Michael Jackson. He's got the hair.
Yeah, he's got everything. Yeah.
He's got the bombastic attitude. He's got the fucking glove.
There we go. Sneaky.
Wrong.
See? Zoop.
Oh,
To launch the photon torpedo.
Oh,
It's like it's a manual photon torpedo launcher.
What the fuck?
If the photon torpedo launcher is disabled because they just hit the torpedo load room, and there we go. Fire. Boop. And that is such a satisfying hit. Fire. Oh, this is great.
that's a huge difference in angle.
And then bam, knocks the whole thing clear off.
Yeah, but
It's so satisfying to just watch that happen.
that angle did not look possible from where they were shooting from.
Sci-fi in the 80s.
It's a couple years old. We're gonna get and that is actually a really great. I mean, it's an animated little.
Yeah, that kind of stuff I like from way back.
Let's see, he has his, and he's
Oh,
got
look,
the control buttons on the chair.
Sulu's unbuttoned now too.
Yeah.
Sulu After Dark, y'all.
But see, those are all they're clamshell little things that are seatbelts.
Yeah.
Thump. In fact, one of the notes that Roddenberry had that he didn't like was at one point there were a bunch of people that were supposed to be thrown all over the bridge.
Anakin.
Yeah, he did.
Sorry, Anna cooked.
A bunch of people were supposed to be thrown around the bridge, and Roddenberry said, "Wait a minute, there are seatbelts on these chairs.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have that happen." Yeah, that hand's also useless at this point, the one that didn't have the glove on. But he was able to...
Yeah, it looks like it's broken in way more than one place.
Mm-hmm.
You think that's a prosthetic?
I don't know, maybe. And this is one of the most satisfying... I'm going to get you starting the evil machine, even though it makes no sense whatsoever. Watch, he turns it to a certain spot, and it clicks down each individual piece. And as he does each piece, it starts going into higher and higher capacity mode.
It's a puzzle.
Kinda. And originally, it made no sense, but the little child that I talked about that was found at the very beginning of the movie would be in the transporter room looking at the Genesis device just before all of this happens.
Commit.
And it starts counting down.
Wow, that's some quick seconds.
Wow. Scanning. It's a pattern I've never seen before.
Didn't know that. Oh, crap.
It's Genesis. It's the Genesis wave.
That's a magic card.
They're on a build-up to detonation. Encoded 4 minutes. Well, people, you can't. Mr. Scott. Need warp speed in 3 minutes or we're all dead. I will say the music picks up here and it's just dun 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 dun. It's great. As they're trying to back away very slowly.
Great image. That golden trail it's leaving. Farther.
And just all those lights and the smoke coming off of it, the mist going right back down that same tube because again, main power is out, so they can't get the turbo lifts back.
I think they got main power back.
They got mostly main power back, but turbo lifts were inoperative below C deck. Gotcha. And so they worked on A to get you down to C, but then after that, you're Vulcan mind.
And here I thought C deck where they keep the whales.
Haha. You're not going in there. Perhaps you're right. What's Mr. Scott's condition? Well, I don't think that he... Remember, that was not originally filmed.
Radiation.
That was not originally filmed, and they were very upset. Now, you've seen those display screens with the bevels on them that are on the... And Spock! Those beveled screens and the lights were used all over the place in the first couple of seasons of Next Gen.
Yeah.
As well as in Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. Oh, I will point them all out.
You asked for it.
Good God, man. Get out of there.
No! I'm sorry.
No! He's going in and resetting. Don't know what he's resetting, but
He's just face fucking it.
he's trying to see it to be able to reach it.
J.J. Abrams, let's let her go.
3 minutes, 30 seconds. Distance from lion.
Too damn close.
We're not going to make it, are we?
Where's Carol?
She's down in sick bay, helping out with the injured. No, you can't get away. Hell's hot. I stab at thee. For hate's sake, I spit my last breath at thee.
Okay, futuristic Shakespeare.
Nominal. The mains are line back online. Bless you, Scotty. Go, Sulu. Great warp out shot, and then whoosh. Hey, this is great. It
And
keeps
the whole nebula just bloop.
Yep. Well, it actually doesn't. As we back up, you'll see what happened. See, they kind of
Dispersed.
and you can see that it's yeah. And there's Dr. Marcus.
Why was that technology never used again?
Well, it's gone.
Spoilers. You'll learn in Star Trek 3. There's a very, very specific
I was
reason.
gonna say, it's not gone. It was in Picard season 3.
Yes. But it was in Daystrom.
Well,
Locked
yeah.
up, not to be used.
Oh.
There was a good reason. And you'll find out. It's all David's fault.
Oh, fucker.
Think you'd better get down here. Bones, better hurry. As you'll notice, Star Trek Into Darkness steals a lot of dialogue directly. They didn't even try to rewrite it. And you'll see the Genesis planet starting to form. A great violin
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
that was gaining octave.
Whee!
And he does the great slide down the. Stop. He'll flood the whole compartment. He'll die. He's dead already, so. Sorry, he's dead already.
Who's the guy hugging his waist?
Yeah.
I was going to say, notice it took 3 guys.
It's Kirk.
That room was actually airtight. They had to keep pumping air in between takes because he was actually starting to get a little lightheaded in there. I love how Spock plays this. They don't say anything, but he's obviously blinded at this point because of the radiation. He walks right into the wall. You save the ship. Don't grieve, Admiral. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Or the one. I have been and always shall be your friend. That's right, he does add this in there. What do you think of my solution? Live long and prosper. Anna's hut. So listen to that.
I think it's obviously very 80s, but 2260 something.
22, yeah. Notice
And
she's got a bit of a tear that starts.
He's playing Amazing Grace.
Yep. Although he isn't actually playing it, and this is one of the few times that you can see that James Doohan, back when
He's
he
old.
Well, no, he fought in
Oh.
World War II, and
I was thinking DeForest Kelly.
he's actually missing his middle finger
Really?
on one hand, and he hit it very well during the original series. And there is apparently one shot here where you can actually see that he doesn't have his middle finger.
Well, now I'm going to be focused on that.
Yep. There we go. Now she's going to
Michelle
shed a tear.
Nichols.
There we go.
I want to try to meet him at STLV this year. There it is.
Uh-huh.
Because all that's left is Koenig, Chakai, and Shatner, right?
Uh-huh.
Have we lost anybody from the other?
Not so far. Not in the main characters.
Yeah.
No, Rene Bergeron.
Oh, yeah. I was going to say he's gone. And that's it.
And then the director was originally quite upset with this. This was supposed to be a final thing for Spock. This was it. They
kind of bringing him back.
Well, what happened was, Leonard Nimoy didn't want to do Star Trek anymore. In fact, they weren't even sure. They brought
him back for all the other movies.
Well,
and then for Next Generation.
They weren't even sure they were going to get him for this one. Oh, but hang on, it gets better. So he was going to do it. Oh, his glasses got cracked.
You broke your little glasses. Get
it? Yes, I do. He's trying to read the book. That's going to be hard.
Why would they have it shooting regular one?
They didn't really know it. They didn't have anybody.
Is that an actual poster from the movie?
Yeah, they didn't have anybody running either, but there were actually several posters made for the movie.
That's real dumb. Real dumb. Hey, Daddy.
So they convinced Leonard Nimoy to come back, saying they'd give him a great death scene. He gets about 2/3 of the way through shooting, and he starts to reconsider and says, I'm actually kind of sad that I'm doing this. And so they all agreed to put that remember scene in. That was not originally filmed. That was done after. Nicholas Meyer did not have any part in that being shot. You knew enough to tell Savick how we face death is at least as important as how we face life.
Yeah.
Just words, but good words. That's where ideas begin. Maybe you should listen to them.
There is a piece of me that wants to go out like Spock, and there's a piece of me that's like, no, fuck that shit.
I love
I
this.
was wrong about you, Dad. Life is like a box of
I'm
space
proud,
chocolates.
very proud to be your son.
Sometimes you get a new starship. Other times you get fucking assimilated.
Fair.
You know
Here we
how
go.
much,
Proud. Very proud to be your son.
how, I thought he dies in this. He dies in 3, right?
Spoilers,
Spoilers?
but yes.
For a 40-year-old movie?
They
Okay,
get a chance to hug.
that's nice.
Remember, he and the gentleman that plays Joachim were the ones that were in Next Generation in the episode with the drug addicts.
Oh, he was in that too?
Yeah,
I
he
didn't
was the other
realize
one.
that.
He was the one that was the most addicted.
Oh, right. And he's still alive.
No, he passed away from AIDS in 1988,
Oh,
like 6 months after that episode came out. It was one of the last things he ever did.
damn.
And this was a neat little. Yet can't help wondering about the friend I leave behind. There always are possibilities, or always possibilities. And if Genesis is indeed life from death, I must return here to this place again. That's where Walter Koenig says the line, there are always possibilities at the beginning of Picard in that last episode when he's playing the Federation president.
Which
He's not dead
brilliant.
as long as we remember him. Yeah. And what a great callback. It's a far, far better thing I do than I've ever done before. A far better place that I go than I've ever been before. Is that a poem? No. Something Spock was trying to tell me on my birthday. Yeah. How do you feel? I feel young.
He was like 50 there.
He's supposed to be 52, according to.
Well, I mean, like in real life.
In real life, probably around that.
Because he's 93 now, right?
93 now. Mm-hmm. And we get the clouds, and we get the new Genesis planet. And again, also not originally scripted or a part of the movie. This was added in at the last moment. Showing because this is the only way you could keep Star Trek fans from not revolting.
Right.
Is Spock's burial tube. Soft landed on Genesis.
So what was the shining thing in the distance?
In space?
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably the sun.
Yeah, it was the sun, actually. The sun coming around the...
God.
And then we get space, the final frontier, being spoken by Leonard Nimoy this time. And they changed the wording. These are the continuing instead of the voyage of the Starship Enterprise. Her ongoing mission instead of 5-year mission to explore strange new worlds,
to seek out
new life forms and new civilizations. Originally, it was just new life. They changed it to new life forms. Not sure why. To boldly go where no man has gone before. It's still saying no man. That doesn't change until Star Trek 6, until Undiscovered Country. And dun 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 dun.
So we started
I'm
the
assuming
movie.
there's no after credit scene.
There is no after credit scene.
Started on his birthday, and we've ended it on my birthday.
And we have ended it on your
happy
birthday.
to both of y'all. I didn't realize yesterday was yours.
No. Started the movie on Kirk's birthday, ended the movie on her birthday.
Oh, Shatner's birthday.
Not even Shatner's, just Kirk.
Kirk.
Yeah.
Remember at the beginning?
That's why he got
It
the
was his birthday.
glasses in the book.
Oh, what the hell, y'all? Y'all killing me. John, want to share a few words before we go?
I think
Yeah,
he shared it.
I haven't shared enough so far.
I wasn't going to say it.
I did
No,
for you.
fantastic movie. It was fun to watch it again with fresh eye. Anytime I can watch one of these movies that I've seen this many times with somebody that is looking at it kind of in a new, from a fresh lens, it is awesome. I enjoy it quite a bit. And yeah, for a movie that, I mean, you heard everything that I said there about how absolutely convoluted everything was beforehand. The fact that they had a movie that was so tight, so well done. Nicholas Meyer gets so much credit for that. He really managed to pull it all together. And I know Roddenberry and a lot of people agree with Roddenberry that going to the militarization of Starfleet was not a good idea, but it works so well here. It always has.
I think it needed to be, especially in those early days, because it was very much a Wild West. And I think branching into the science exploration for the Next Generation was smart. And then the remilitarization post Dominion War.
Yep.
Is very smart as well. Because the pinnacle of science exploration is represented in the ramp up between the Next Generation and the Voyager. And the Voyager is that example. And then you have science exploration, the first chunk of DS9, and then the Dominion War happens, and they literally create classes of ships to fight the Borg and fight the Dominion.
Yep, agreed.
So, yeah. Well, guys, that is our watch-along reaction lip sync battle, apparently, to Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. If you like this, leave a like and subscribe. If you want us to do it again, tell us a video in the bottom, or a movie in the bottom, or a TV show or something that you would like us to sit down and watch together and comment on throughout. But that is ours for tonight. Thank you, Judy, for being our special guest star.
Yes, thank you for being here.
And happy birthday.
Thank you.
And thank you, John, for here.
Wow.
Thank you, John.
Thanks for driving me here.
And thank you. You definitely want to drive you home. And thank you all for watching. We will see you next time, y'all. Live long, stay nerdy, y'all.